I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Hi, I'm Marika Moore, and if you want to get all up in my business, you should check out my new book, Unsolicited Marriage Advice, where I provide an analysis of the best marriage advice that I've received over the past 16 years or so. So head on over to Amazon and buy it now.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listens Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. Go to our YouTube, click that bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming episodes. Go to a link in our bio so you can purchase our merchandise, our books, and all the other products. And just make sure you tell everybody about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Marv B. Let's bring the crew in. All right, shout out to C. So listen, man, the Epstein files. More and more is coming out. A lot of high-level names are being released. It's been a complete you-know-what show in terms of how they're releasing this. Pam Bondi, the head of the U.S. Justice Department, she spoke in front of Congress, and she really showed her white privilege. They asked her, pretty pointed questions, and her response was to be hostile and not really answer, either to cover up her misdeeds or to cover up her incompetence, probably a little bit of both, right? So there's been a lot of files released, some redacted, some not, and, the redactions have been protecting certain people, but they didn't protect the victims. Victims' names were put out there, and trigger warning for anybody that may be impacted by this. And it's some real foul stuff, man. A lot of, heads of corporations, a lot of people have been connected to this case. And I was shocked, and, Erika's the resident attorney of the group, but I was shocked that there's so much information. They're saying they said Trump's name was mentioned like 1 million times. And I guess I shouldn't be shocked when you look at how far reaching Epstein was in terms of like his access to presidents, high level, heads of corporations or what have you. And I don't think that they've released everything. I've said it on the show before that I don't think anything will happen from this, because if they knew beforehand, before they put him in office, that Trump was linked to this dude. But what are y'all thoughts on what we've seen so far? And do you think, opposite of me, that eventually it may turn out to be where Trump is impacted and the people in his cabinet are impacted? What do y'all think?
She's a disgrace to the legal community. I have never met a prosecutor that didn't prioritize victims over the criminal defendants. Literally the exact opposite. The prosecutor's whole job is to focus on the victims, and they have victims advocates that are supposed to be there making sure that the victims' needs are being met, that they're being met with compassion, and that they're being, represented and their voices being heard. And then for her to not even turn around and acknowledge them, like to not even look at them, and to come prepared to the hearing, not to answer any questions about the prosecution, but only to burn the people that are actually asking her the questions, is juvenile, it's disrespectful, and it's astonishing that there are this many incompetent people in positions of power in our government at this time. And yet, time and time again, we keep seeing how incompetent everyone in a position of power is at their job. Like, just do your job. We're not asking you to be the greatest person in the world at your job. Just do your job. Acknowledging the victims and advocating for the victims is a prosecutor's job. It's my job to try to undermine these victims. And I want justice for the victims more than the attorney general does. And that's insane. That's the state of our government and our country right now. It's insane.
So let me clarify. You're speaking as a criminal defense attorney. That's why you say what you say.
Yeah,
Not that you're really trying to undermine, the
right.
victims or anything, but you theoretically you could be representing somebody that is in this case. But would you represent somebody that had these type of charges on them?
I don't do sex crimes and I don't do domestic violence for the most part. And I don't do anything that has to do with children because I need to be able to sleep at night. But
Man,
I
the
think
Epstein
that I
file.
also don't do A and B felonies. But so I think there's a lot that goes into it. But when you accept the responsibility for crimes in situations of this magnitude, you owe everyone, the people on both sides, a certain level of respect. And if you're not going to do that, then you're in the wrong job.
Yeah, you said the Holy Trinity. They're all in the Epstein files. Children, sex crimes, A felonies, B felonies, whatever. But I think the part you talked about it a second ago is that we have to come to grips with or come to terms with is that for a lot of these MAGA folks, the reason that MAGA is what it is because they feel like they are the victims. So for them, she is protecting the victims. The a lot of people think this sex crimes, Me Too, all this kind of stuff is victimizing people. They think it's not the women who are actually being or women and men who are actually being sexually assaulted and all that kind of stuff. The actual victims are the rich and powerful men who have their name, who have to sit there and listen to their name get dragged through the mud, and their businesses or their finances take a hit. That's the real victim, and that's what Pam Bondi is telling us. Not literally saying that, but that's what her actions are saying, and that's something that the white victim mentality that goes back to the white supremacy and the what they call it, the replacement theory, all that kind of stuff is to cast white men more so as victims of everyone else. Everyone else is out to get them, and that's what we're saying.
I saw somebody that was being interviewed. What was the dude that ran as Kamala's VP? Was it Kane? What's his name? Tim Kaine?
With Kamala
Yeah.
Walls, Tim Walls.
Tim Walz. I think it was him. He was
Yeah,
interviewing this guy, and the guy was talking about how uh, they needed to protect white culture. I'm paraphrasing a whole bunch. And he talked about look at the number of people who are in charge of corporations. They're overwhelmingly white. Look at the people who have been president outside of President Barack Obama. They've been all white. When you talk about wealth, you talk about all the different things that matter in controlling this company. They're predominantly ran by white people, in particular white men. So how do you wrap your mind around, we need to be protected, we're being discriminated against, and it's a sickness and it's a really a mental illness on their behalf that they're able to construct their mind to do those mental gymnastics to believe that their status in life is being impacted by us being put on equal playing ground. And it really speaks to their mediocrity because they've always been able to uh, have a leg up when it comes to housing, when it comes to job placement, when it comes to anything. The only thing that they really have not been able to overcome minorities in has been athletics, has been entertainment, right? And they have found a way to capitalize on
yeah,
that. They've been
yep,
the ones who have mainly profited from that. So, when I see that and I see this protection, they've always been the biggest hypocrites. When they talk about, I'm pro life. No, you're not pro life. You're not pro life. You're pro birth because once that baby is born, you don't want to do anything to
nothing.
help that child. You're on your own. And it really speaks to how, we said on the show, I think I think someone said that, well, I'm gonna cut that out. It really speaks to they're just really trying to protect their way of life, and Trump represents that. So it's always been they've been able to hold their nose and vote for Trump, even though they know he's a despicable person. But the depths of what they're willing to look past has really we show no bounds because, like, okay, I haven't read any of the Epstein files. I've had people that say, okay, they're breaking down things that have happened, but most people have said it's horrific.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrific. And when you look at President Obama, he caused controversy for just wearing a tan suit. And had he been in any part of those files, that'd be they tried to stress, they tried to put Mike Jackson, they tried to put Jay-Z, Wale. Was it Wale? I think it was a Wale or what was the other rapper? It was Jay-Z and somebody else. They tried to put them in the files, but they did the
Oh,
timeline.
really? I didn't even hear about that part.
But they did the timeline. This is like 96. It was like Jay-Z wasn't even Jay-Z. Jay-Z was Jay-Z, but he wasn't Jay-Z.
Nah, he
Until
wasn't. He didn't come
96.
out till 96.
Yeah. So that didn't make any sense. So, if they could, they would try to put a black face on it, especially when you got Obama, because Obama lives in his mind rent free.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it, but when he posted that video of them meaning President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama as monkeys, and then left it up, then tried to say, oh, well, a staffer did it. And then they was like, no, I didn't know Staffer did it. You did it.
Exactly. He knows.
And then didn't want to apologize for it. Right. And some people was like, nah, he's got to take it down. But you don't see MAGA saying anything about that.
No. And then they was like, did the staffer get fired? The staffer that supposed to get fired? It was like, nah, because there is no staffer.
Right. He's the staffer. That's the problem.
There's no staffer, and he don't care.
No,
he don't care. Good job.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about this video, you're not talking about what's in the files.
Right. And exactly. And to further your point about how mediocre they are, that's why he hates Barack Obama so much. Barack is smarter than him, more, just more
intelligent,
smarter, more intelligent, more charismatic, more loved. I mean, you saw the All-Star. Yeah.
Only time they booed Barack was when he came. What was it? Was it Jimmy Carter's funeral? And they booed him at that. What was the funeral? The last president that passed away. Wasn't it Carter? Yeah, it was.
I would think so, but I don't know why he was a Democratic governor of Georgia, and he won Georgia. I don't know.
When they did the presidential funeral, when Obama walked there by himself, they was booing Obama.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They booed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Trump gets booed everywhere he goes. Obama gets loved wherever he goes.
But to further your end about their mediocrity, that's part of it. They feel so threatened that if the playing field is level, they know they ain't nothing. I was about to say they know they ain't, and they'll lose their position. So they have to the playing field has to be uneven for them to continue, and it's telling. And if anyone just looks at it unbiased, you'll see that.
I saw this young lady, she put it on social media, and I've always had this opinion, this stance. She said, if I see a white homeless person, I'm not giving you any money. How you mess up that privilege that you was born with? And I felt the exact same way. I'm not giving you anything.
Right.
You was born right. That's like having $5 in your pocket every morning. No.
I don't care if you got 3 kids over there in the car.
So you had every advantage. And you fumbled it.
You squandered it.
You fumbled.
You squandered it.
No. I mean, I can have compassion for you, right? Like, too bad. I'm
gonna pray for you.
I'm not giving you money.
Thoughts and prayers.
No.
Jesus wept.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's funny because you look at President Obama, first black president, and y'all's boy, and I'm being funny by saying that, Stephen A. Smith. He said that he's going to run for president. He's strongly considering running for president. What he's basing that on, I don't know, because
Trump. He's going to be a Republican if he runs. He's going to have
excels here.
You said what?
Yeah.
Mediocrity excels here. Let me go ahead and try my hand at it.
I mean, I would say that I wouldn't call Stephen A. mediocre. I think that he's good at what he does. My beef with Stephen A.
At what he does, right.
My beef with Stephen A. is that, what Joy Reid said, what many people say, he's willing to say those nasty things towards black people that white people really can't say. And he does that. And it's clear that that has been the key to part of why he's been as successful as he has been. I mean, he's been on ESPN for years. There's times where he got fired and they brought him back, and we all play the game in corporate America, whatever. But one thing that I won't do, I would never ever publicly go after and talk bad about a black person. I won't. I won't do it. And I don't feel bad about it because you often see white people, they don't feel compelled to say anything when somebody does something deplorable. There's people that speak out against Trump all the time, right? I'm not condemning all white people, I'm saying? We're not racist. However, there's people that, you bring it up like, uh, how come Trump is mentioned so many times in the Epstein files? They don't say a mumbling word about it. So I don't have any qualms about not speaking out against any black person, even if they may deserve it. But Stephen A, he feels that, he can really win. I don't know what he's based that on. He's never been elected in an elected official. I mean, I guess Trump wasn't either. So,
Right.
he said he'd be hard on crime, he'll be tough on crime, and there'll be police everywhere. Just so tone deaf, And my thing is, you look at what they did to the Obamas, that's what they really feel about you. That's what they really feel about us. Shout out to Tim Scott.
See,
Tim Scott,
yeah.
Tim Scott did all that shucking and jiving, right? And he didn't get no cabinet position. He didn't get anything.
Yeah.
But the reason why I said mediocrity was because Stephen A doesn't have any political experience.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
He was like, I can win here because someone without political experience has excelled here. So that was my point on mediocrity, not mediocre as a person, but mediocrity as this institution doesn't garner the same prestige that it used to garner.
Yeah. And if we look at it, holistically as the whole scope of everything that Stephen A does, you got to understand we talk about ESPN. He's on a General Hospital from time to time. He has a recurring spot on there. He hosts stuff on The View. Sometimes he's on The View sometimes. So he has Disney, ABC behind him. And so for them, it's really a money-making boon too. If you get a presidential candidate who's on your air every day, that's something that I don't think can be overlooked. Not saying that's the only reason, but I guarantee you they probably have some, hey, we might push you forward a little bit more. We might put you on all these platforms, and it's going to help their bottom line.
I mean, he won't get out the primaries.
No. That's why I said he would have to either run as an independent or something. He can't win.
He won't get out the primaries because I don't see anybody that's going to invest their money into him.
Yeah, but they're going to try to push whatever debates on ABC. They win either way.
Yeah.
They win no matter what. They win the extra money, and he gets to be coon of the century, which is what he likes to be.
Man, I gotta that's a good one. No, man, yeah, with that little video where he's talking about I'm gonna be tough on crime in the comment section. It's so many pictures of coons, and I mean, it's crazy, man. People. I don't know, like you said, I don't know where he's getting the idea. That's the only thing that came to my mind is maybe his higher ups are pushing the narrative because he can't be talking to everyday citizens that are like, yeah, I would love to see you run for office. I like impossible.
But he's really oblivious to how people really feel about him, though.
Yeah.
So
I think that's impossible too.
No, but he addressed it. He addressed it on his show. He was like, "What are y'all talking about? The black community doesn't like me. I bring Sports Center to HBCUs." He said, "I got all black women in my family. My children are black. I'm a member of this fraternity."
that he didn't say right. That he didn't even say his fraternity right. Yeah.
He's an Omega. He's an Omega. And then what was crazy about it he was trying to say Omega Psi Phi, and he was like Osega Psi, and then like and they
He
was
had to issue an apology for that.
yeah, they was hazing him on that. He was like, I was just talking too fast. And he was just talking too
He
fast.
was, he was. It happens, yeah.
Right.
But
But when you
Also,
but when
put some respect
you
on their name.
but when you are known for not cutting anybody any slack, no slack will be given to you.
yeah, and
Mm,
you know the part
And you
about
gotta think
black
about it too,
women,
culture trade thought. He's probably an embarrassment to them. I'm not an Omega,
probably.
so and the way he came in and all that other stuff. So they gave him, but to his thing, he was like, "What y'all talking about? Like, I'm a proud black man." But like, okay, yeah, you might be. There's a lot of people who are proud black men and women
You got to be paper.
that still did stuff to hurt black people.
right? And you know, I hate that. I hate that. I was raised by black women. I got all these sisters, and guess what? It's a lot of guys who out here beating on black women who were raised by black women
Mm.
around all black women. Not to equate the two, but when he goes after the most vitriol he has is for Joy Reid, is for Carrie Champion, is for Jasmine Crockett. You know, and so that's the part. I like Stephen A. back in the day, but I can't even watch his show no more. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
I
Can't.
really, I really like, and it's a sad thing, man, because I like Stephen A.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Harris Faulkner.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when Harris Faulkner first came on the news
Yeah.
in Kansas City? Harris Faulkner, fine.
Yeah.
And then now she's Fox News out, right? Jungle Fever.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna lie to you, I ain't gonna lie to you.
I already know who you gonna say because I did too. I
I
used
used
to
to like
watch him
Jason
too.
Whitlock.
Yeah, man, and the Stephen A. Smith thing is so. That's what's even so interesting to me is that he's drifting towards that same lane as Jason Whitlock, and
Oh,
they
Whitlock
hate each
already.
other, and
Whitlock
they hate
sold
each
all the
other.
way. Whitlock
How's
sold
that
all the way
possible?
out.
Yeah, man, they hate
He's
each
on
other.
his way.
So here's the thing, because I used to
Yeah,
listen to Whitlock a lot back in the day.
I did too.
Whitlock has sold all the way out, but
Yeah.
Whitlock had a stance on black people in journalism and how certain people were propped up by corporate media and they really didn't have the skill sets to be where
Mhm.
they were at on the platforms that they were on. So there's a guy, he was terrible. What was his name?
Scoop Jackson.
Scoop Jackson. He used to go after Scoop Jackson all the time. Scoop Jackson, I think
Yeah.
he was aligned with Slam Basketball.
Slam magazine. Yeah.
So they Slam magazine. So they would bring in Scoop Jackson, and Whitlock would be like, "Man, this dude's not qualified. Why would he be there?" Now, my problem with that though is, I may
Like the
agree with you that
unqualified.
Scoop isn't qualified when you see the type of work that he puts in. But why do you have to say it, and what do you get out of it?
And also, there's 1,000 more white unqualified people in the job
There
too.
you go.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you never see them speak out. You
Well,
never
because
see them go after each other and
yeah.
question their credibility. So you're doing white people's work for them.
Mhm.
And we talked about the gatekeeping. They
Mm-hmm.
even try to get Whitlock, they were going to do like a whole black version of ESPN, right?
Yeah.
Put him in
Mm-hmm.
charge of it. He's supposed to like build this whole department, and he couldn't find nobody to want to work with him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I credit Whitlock, and that's the thing about Whitlock. I used to like still kind of watch him, but you could tell he don't really believe the shit that he says. It's really just a sellout game. But I credit Whitlock. Whitlock's why I don't use the N word.
Mm.
He had a podcast where he litigated why we shouldn't use the N word, and I listened to it. And at the very end of the show, and I'm big on community. I'm big on black men and educating young black men. And Whitlock said, how do we ask and push our young black men to be the best that they could be and call them something so vile? And when he said that, I was like, damn, you know what? That make a lot of sense. That make a
Mm-hmm.
lot of sense. And after that, I never stopped using it. I didn't use the N word again. And I don't allow it on this show. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
rules on this show, but what I tell y'all, we don't use the N word on the show, right?
It
And
rolls off the tongue.
I don't allow people to call me the N word, right?
Yeah.
And even still, I'm really questionable about calling people coon too, because
Yeah, no,
I'm not really with using white
Their
people
words.
they're
terminology
right,
for us
exactly,
against
Their
black
exactly.
words
people.
I
against
understand
us.
that part. Yep.
I will say sellout. He's a sellout,
Yeah,
right? But like a coon, the other different word like
yeah.
jigaboo, moon cricket, all
Right,
that other
right,
stuff.
right.
Hopefully we don't get flagged because I just said those words.
I
You know,
know. I'm like,
I
those
don't.
don't roll off the tongue.
I mean, listen, I had when did I stop? It had to be. I stopped using the N word. I was still living in Omaha, so it's been almost about 10 years, man.
Yeah.
10 years.
Well,
10 years.
you know, that's the crazy part though about the whole Stephen A thing is so you can there's never been a thoughtful a time where I had a thoughtful moment for listening to Stephen A. Smith. I'm be honest with you.
He's
Like
Yeah, where you're
entertaining.
like
He's
reflective.
he's
yeah,
entertaining. He's
he's
good at breaking
entertaining.
down.
Yes,
But
yes,
even then,
yes.
they tried to like throw him at everything. Like they got him breaking down boxing. Dude, you're not a boxing analyst, dog.
Football. He man,
You're
and
not
this
a
is it.
football analyst.
When I did watch the show towards the end, the latter part when I was watching it, he you could tell he's out of his depth when it
Yeah,
comes to like football, man.
yeah.
You know, he knows it too. He knows he is too. But yeah,
Because that's the sports entertainment piece.
yeah, mm-hmm.
That's the entertainment piece.
That's why
Entertainment.
he needed Bayless.
That's the first. That's the first E in ESPN stands for entertainment. You know, so
F. Skip Bayless.
Yes, but also they had different skill sets. So I think that it's easy to defer, like how y'all were just talking about like sports people, and I'm like, it's easy to defer when people have different skill sets. So I'm saying that he probably shouldn't be doing a show on his own if his
Like,
depth is not.
say it again. Say it again. Your mic went out.
I said he probably shouldn't be doing the show on his own if his depth is not across the board.
I mean, but they usually surround him with other people that
Mhm.
can fill that gap. My problem with Skip Bayless is I really can't even say Skip Bayless is a mediocre white man, because I've watched enough of his shows to where he does his analysis, he does his research, he did the work here in Dallas, uh, investigating and reporting on the Dallas Cowboys. So he's built up that resume, right?
Mm.
I've even seen Skip Bayless in his way as a older white man talk about how certain people in the NFL have like a plantation approach to the NFL. Now he said a lot of stuff that is he's a white dude. He just went all the way off the wall, right? Like he was talking about the dude, the young man that had the heart situation in Buffalo, and he fell out on the field, and he made some way out comment about them going back to play the game or whatever. And he wouldn't apologize for it, but I would never ever rock with Skip Bayless because I blame him for the vitriol and the hate that a lot of people have for LeBron James. Now, if you
For
still want to
LeBron.
say Michael Jordan is the GOAT, we didn't have all this, like you never had this type of vitriol when Jordan came up and Dr. J was retiring. You never had those comparisons between Jordan and Dr. J. And before Jordan, Dr. J was Michael Jordan.
It was Michael Jordan. Yeah,
He was
it
that
was
For
good.
sure. For
And we never
it
sure.
was
had
a
that. But
different
now you
time.
have
It
all
was a
this.
different time. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you have all this vitriol and this hate towards LeBron, Kobe, MJ, and we fed into it and we believed it. And really, all you're doing is hating on the black man. I seen Ron Harper the other day. Shout out to Ron Harper. He got two sons in the NBA. They was asking him something. He said, "Well, I'm not LeBron James." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, why are you talking about LeBron James? Why you sitting here with your boys who made the NBA, one playing for the Celtics, one playing for the Spurs, right? And they're asking
Done
you
your
about your family, and you was like, "Well, I'm not LeBron James." Why is LeBron on your mind?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So I can't never
condos in the
rock.
home
So
kid.
just to wrap it up, I can't rock with Skip Bayless just because of that, because I blame him for that level, that discourse, that hate that permeated through the black community. You don't see it that much anymore because LeBron's almost on his way out.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't ride with him because of that.
I felt it in the beginning too.
That
It was the baby powder for me.
was a little much. You
Listen,
know,
man,
I'll
I
be
rock
honest
with
with you.
LeBron James, man.
No,
Like,
LeBron James is, to be honest, with probably the best. on-court basketball player you'll ever see that we any of us have ever seen
Ever.
as far as basketball player.
Yeah.
Now Jordan, the timing and when Jordan came, and it's just different. His impact. I was sitting there watching The Last Dance earlier today, and just they reminded me, one year, man, Jordan led the league in scoring, won MVP, won Defensive Player of the Year, won All-Star Game MVP, all in the same season, man. Just like crazy, man.
Jordan was great. You saw what they was
Yeah.
like. That Defensive Player of the Year stats. They said some of those stats were kind of fishy, like the number of steals he was getting.
Yeah.
With it. But that don't take away from his greatness.
No. And while we on it, shout out to Mike for being the first black owner in NASCAR to win the Daytona 500. So
Hey, come on, big up black people.
You saw
That's the other thing too. So like my dad,
yeah, he from a different era, dog. He from a different era, man.
You ain't see that?
Also we can't do that either. So we can leave it alone, or we can dive into it.
So
we can't excuse it.
Here's my thing, and I'm gonna say this: he's from a different era, but so are we.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things I ain't never been no take the pee. There's never been, y'all know me for years,
right?
Especially Enrica. There's never been a time where there's no woman that could say that they have felt unsafe around me sexually. I'm not that type of guy. There's ways that we joked and played around back in the day that in the Me Too era or post Me Too era, you just can't do that anymore. Now, do I think Mike was doing something like PDF? No, I think he was just trying to get his attention, playing around. And unfortunately, shout out to Dr. Christina Slaughter Jones. People have their lens that is trauma filled, and they have their trauma dust, and they sprinkle it on everybody. So anything that's inappropriate, like I may have like my grandchild or a young female, and they may sit on my lap. Now, there's some people that be like, no, no girl be sitting on no man's lap. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. You know, in my family, us men was that I know, get down like that. You know what I'm saying? So if a little baby sitting on my lap, it's not a problem. But for some people, the lens that they have, it's an issue. And I think that's why people are trying to target Mike with this. I think it's much ado about nothing. And I hope that people don't really keep going with it.
Yeah.
I think people also kind of exaggerate certain things. A child sitting on your leg is not sitting on your lap. And then your grandchild looking for affection. You can't say that we need to give black men more affection as children growing up, and then also say, but also don't have them close to you as a black man. Like, you can't do double negatives. I think that children, women and male, need to experience love from their father figures, their uncles, the people, and they need to understand the difference. That's where you build discernment between safe love and unsafe. And so you can only get that if you get a great amount of good, safe black male, black female love in the beginning. So we can't take away the good out of fear of the bad.
Yeah. And you know, there's a lot of positives that came out from the Me Too movement, things that we learned.
Yeah.
Like, hey, listen, a lot of our sisters just live with. And things that it was like, wait a minute, you know, coercion, things of that nature. One thing I like, you talk about kids and adults. There's been plenty of times where I've seen little kids like, go hug Aunt so-and-so. And I'm like, I don't want to hug her. Sometimes you gotta trust kids.
Yeah.
They can see.
They know.
They can see like, I don't want to hug her.
They might not be able to articulate it. They might not be able to articulate it, but they know.
Right.
And even if they don't have a reason, if they just have a feeling, you got to go with it. Some of my nieces and nephews, they're like, no, I don't want to hug that person. I'm like, hey, listen, don't tell me twice. Don't.
And guess what?
Also, we won't be going over there.
And as a grown man, if a child says she don't want to hug me or he don't want to hug me, stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
Stay away from me, because I don't need you talking about, well, he did such and such and such and such. Because as a man who don't get down like that, if you are accused, they don't the accusation, even if it's proven false, nobody remembers that.
It never goes
No,
away.
nobody
No.
remembers that. They remember the accusation. So us as men, we have to make sure that we put ourselves in positions where we protect ourselves. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I had to teach my son that.
I'm not going to be in a situation by myself with even with my daughters. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, y'all don't, y'all safe with me, but y'all put some damn clothes on when y'all walk around this
Right.
bitch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know? So
See,
it's a lot, man. And I know we talked about a whole bunch, but go ahead, finish your trade thoughts. Sis.
no, I was gonna say, and we learned a lot from that movement on how to communicate better and how to not say things that offend people that we really don't mean to offend. It's like
Right.
even with my grandchildren, when I come over, they're like, some days they run up and give me a hug. Some days they like, nah, lady. And I wait until they're ready to come up and give me a hug. I don't be like, nah, give me a hug. I'm your grandma.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They
Right.
don't even understand that I'm their grandma. They like you, this lady that comes over once a week, often with gifts.
Right. Right.
So, but other than that, like we have to
Man.
learn that we have to
Man.
respect other people's boundaries, whether they're 1 years old, they're 80 years old, that everybody's boundaries deserve to be respected. And until we learn that, then we're always going to be in this kind of figure it out type of space. But I think that's one of the things that the Me Too movement taught us is that respecting people's boundaries and understanding that we don't know everything that's going on with everybody. We don't know everything that's going on in their heads, what their anxieties are, what their mental health state is. And so respecting people and meeting them where they are and allowing them to come to us instead of forcing ourselves on people, whether it's children or adults, it's something that we all learn from that movement. And if we don't respect that and don't learn from that, then we're gonna be stuck with future presidents who like to grab people by the pussy.
And on that note, I think we talked about it enough. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, click that bell icon, be notified of episodes. Go to Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. Make sure you tell a friend about the show. We got some new stuff coming down the pike. We're really going to be revamping the show. We're going to be doing a live show coming up. I know y'all like our live shows. We have the whole crew together. And just make sure y'all tell everybody about the show. We got a lot of stuff coming on. For y'all that have been rocking with us, how long we been doing this show? So let's do the math. We've been doing
8
this
years.
show. It got to be like
Oh
eight.
wait, 18.
Yeah, about eight.
Maybe yeah, about 8 years.
8 years.
It's 26 now, so
Yeah,
sometime probably in
8 years.
2018 sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all that have been rocking with us for 8 years, we got some new stuff coming. We're gonna make sure we look out for y'all. But we'll holler at you next time. Shout out to C. Peace.